So, all right. Our daughter is cooking dinner, and my wife just got home. So expect noise in the background here. And welcome.
All right.
Hello, wife.
You're going to share some food over here?
That I'm not. So
You're not.
Let's see. So today, thank you for helping read, Gwen and Laritza. We have for you from the Stay Strong channel.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. Can
It's
you hear
nice.
me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay. She's having fun. Okay. So
That came out the wrong place.
your laugh comes out your mouth. So right?
On my nose. Okay. Anyways, focus.
Yeah, focus. Focus A. So,
Focus A.
Focus A. Okay.
I have something.
Oh wait.
On 35. On 34. Do we have to start at the beginning?
Yep. Because we gotta. This is the order people are taking notes. But I don't have anything for 31 because I was reading. So anybody else?
I've heard that before.
So what is it that we read? 31 through?
31 through 35.
35.
35? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
I have to go back. Somebody say something about 31 and then I'll comment.
Oh. I'm a little pressed for time this evening just because it started raining and because we're in the desert, all the windshield wipers get dry rotted. So they turn into, instead of windshield wipers, they're windshield smearers.
Oh, that's weird.
What, the way it smears mud across your window?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right?
Okay, fine. Then it's...
Oh, it might help if I go back to the 31 also.
Yeah, I'm going back to, okay, I'm just typing it back in.
Right?
Oh, I see, yes.
Where him and Laban have the showdown.
Okay, I find it interesting that the rams jumped on the cattle.
In the dream?
Oh.
Did you miss that part? I was wondering about that though.
Like what? Okay, sorry.
I was wondering about that because I've had dreams about sheep before.
Okay.
Like old-fashioned straight hair, the kind you have to brush instead of shear, right?
Okay.
And I don't know, it was just...
Is that it?
It was just interesting. Well, I looked them up and it was it's a breed that's still around, but it's what they call a heritage breed. Like nobody's really used it for commercial purposes. From like Scotland. And when I grabbed the ram by his horn, he fainted. You know how you see goats faint? Well, that's what this ram did. He's all, and then fell over on his side. That was a long time ago. It was a very
interesting.
I know, huh?
I'm looking.
I'm looking at verse 10 and the dream that you were talking about, and it says, okay, and it came to pass at that time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted my eyes and I saw in a dream, and this is the dream that you were talking about, that the ram which leaped upon the cattle was a how do you say that word? Stracked, speckled and grizzled. And then the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob, and I said, Here I am. So it's literally an angel talking to him through his dream. And a lot of people say that angel was Michael because he blessed him. That same angel blessed him in the other verses. And they said that only Michael can bless.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, interesting. I'm trying to read as fast as I can. I hate being rushed.
Hurry.
And he lifted up his eyes. He lifted up and said, "Lift up thy eyes and see all the rams which leap." And I came in late in the game while you were still reading, and because it is my first time, my I'm not extremely alert because I am a little shy, believe it or not.
Huh.
Did you know I was shy? Yeah, I'm pretty
We have a
shy.
trio of those.
Yeah, it comes, it's got to go though. The shyness got to go because we're supposed to be bold, Being shy is part of self taking over
Oh, this
because
is interesting.
there's a message. We can't get in the way of the message that we have to share.
Margaret says there's another breed called Jacob sheep with extra horns and 2 breeding seasons. I've seen those with 4 horns. I think that's what she's talking about. But they come out.
Really, I've never seen those.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody's volunteering in chat, so let's go to 32. We're getting closer, Gwen.
I know.
I don't have anything until late in the chapter, verse 24. But if you got anything before that, let me know.
Well, I'm wondering what the dream exactly was about, because that's that's very interesting.
Well, something else too throughout all these lessons, throughout all these chapters this evening, Jacob had a thing for putting pillars up, for raising pillars, standing up pillars. What's going on with that? I mean,
I'm trying to avoid my knee-jerk reaction every time I hear the word pillars.
Right. Well, I mean, he
So-
used them, so there's obviously another meaning. I mean, to mark a spot, or
Maybe it's another one of those things where we have to look up the word. Is it really pillars? Is it the same?
Okay. Since you went there,
Well, I mean,
let's see.
I think where we were at Jacob already.
Right. Let's see here.
Oh, I'm trying to focus. I can hear my kids are almost at the verge of arguing and taking each other's limbs off again. Well, I don't feed them all day, right? Like I make them starve. I don't feed them all at all.
Uh-huh.
And like between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, they're starving to death.
Right. So they're
I'm
typical.
hungry.
I can remember being starving children and being wherever we were saying, "Can we please just have bread? Please. It's going to be dinner in 25 minutes. Please."
Mine always ask for marshmallows because we found marshmallows that were vegan that don't have any hullabaloo in it.
Yep.
So now it's like, can I have a marshmallow? Can I have a marshmallow? Anyway.
Oh, you don't eat meat?
Marshmallows have, most of the marshmallows out there have pig gelatin in them.
I know.
So
yeah, but I'm just, I haven't I grew up not eating shellfish or pork. And, and I recently, well, not recently, 15 years ago, I decided to stop eating meat. And it was the best thing I ever did. But the thing is, we have to learn how to do it because we can get malnutrition if we do it the wrong way and we get sick.
Yeah. No, I still eat meat. Like my husband's a hunter and we still eat moose.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean?
Actually, that's better than going to the store and buying the meat there. I'll tell you that much.
So far, so good. We can make moose burger, and then we can make moose sausages, and we make moose jerky, and so on and so on.
So how did we get off on where are the moose in chapter 32?
Well, I was thinking here, I'm still at the angel spoke, the angel of God, the angel of Yahweh spoke to him in a dream. And this is verse 11. And then he talked about the dream. And then he says, thou anointest the pillar. And he says, I am God of Bethel. And And then he talks about, hold on. So I'm looking, and these dreams, these things that are being spoken, they are important to understand, what exactly he's saying. So jumping from verse to verse is kind of we don't want to miss anything in between.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
So, but I didn't really, as I was reading, I was not dissecting it as we should. So it's like afterwards, it's like if I'm reading it for the first time as opposed to the second time. Unfortunately, sadly.
So where was the pillar where he put the oil on it?
Anointed the pillar. It's on
Verse. Hi, Sky.
It's verse 13.
Verse 13.
Verse 13.
13. Let's see here.
And then he's telling him to get out of the land and return unto the land of thy kindred.
Oh, that's back to 31.
Yeah, verse 13.
Okay.
Yeah, when he anoints the pillar, it says, I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointest the pillar. So it says where he anoints the pillar. So he's speaking of a past tense situation. And where thou vowest to vow unto me. So he's reminding him, this is where this happened when you said that you would, that you made your promise to me. You vowed your allegiance to me. Now arise, get thee from out of the land. So now I'm reminding you that you anointed the pillar and that you made a vow unto me. So because you made a vow unto me, now arise, get out of the land. So now you made a vow to me, so now you will listen to me because you're anointed, and return unto the land of thy kindred. Now you're able to hear.
Right. Now that, and because we were discussing that the last reading, how Jacob is kind of up to that point, it's like, oh yeah, I'm receiving the blessing because my father Isaac was blessed and he believed in the same God as his father Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now it's starting to hit home. For pillar, it's the Hebrew word H4676, matseba. It's feminine causative participle of H5324, something stationed. That is a column or memorial stone, by analogy, an idol. Garrison, a standing image or a pillar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting, something stationed. So basically it sounds like a way marker to me.
Yeah, and there's also other definitions of pillar, like it's like you said, a foundation, but just like the earth is on, the scriptures talks about it's on its pillars because it holds steady what's on top of it. And you get a few solid pillars, you put something on top and it's not going anywhere.
Yep.
And that's why they call the pillars of faith, and people use the pillars in a lot of different ways to describe something that's going to hold something else together.
Yeah, I missed something in chat. But plinth, a sewer with no S, and an ewer. Okay, I don't know where they're going. So let's go back to 32 here, and I don't think I got in this. What jumped out at me?
Mm-hmm.
So where am I? Oh, that's. See, I'm skipping around here. Okay. I didn't get anything, but it kind of struck me this time because we read this pretty recently. But 24, in verse 24, he's wrestling with this man. It says he wrestled with a man till the breaking of the day. There's a lot of theories about who exactly this is. But he's an old man by now. Right? He's an old man wrestling there and winning. So
there's hope for you? Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
A lot of people say he wrestled with himself. And that is the struggle of self between good and evil. And there's people say it was an angel. Some people say it was Christ. Yeshua HaMashiach. And so when we read it, we see the description of what the wrestling means as it continues. So you see that it's a lot deeper than just a simple guy just trying to jump him and you got to wrestle to try, someone trying to get your money or something. It goes, it's wrestling for the soul.
And it ultimately, though, it does sound like he was left with that physical disability of having his hip
Altered.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, it's at the same time, when you wrestle, you're not wrestling. He wasn't wrestling because someone's trying to do something to him. It's beyond that,
Yep.
Yeah. It's not like he's in the middle of nowhere and someone just comes up to you and just starts wrestling with you for no reason.
Right. No, it is. It's something, there's something to it. But this is, out of this is where he is now called Israel.
Right, exactly. Something changed in him that it wasn't there before. And in scripture, when the names change, that it's because the spirit changed, just like Saul and Paul. People use that a lot as a reference.
You become a new creation.
Mm-hmm.
Now on verse 28, right, where a lot of people have been talking recently about principalities and powers, right? The prince of Persia. And he's told in verse 28, thy name shall no more be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men.
Okay. Some say power with God, power with man, or strive with God and strive with man and one. But
still, the prince is still there.
Oh, prince, yes.
Right. So that is an authority position.
Mm-hmm.
It means son of the king.
Mm-hmm.
You have to earn it for sure.
Unless you're born into it.
Even if you're born into it, even if you're firstborn.
Right. You're supposed to. But we've heard worldly.
Like even Yeshua earned his position. He was who he was before. Okay, wait, that's going to be forever on live now. Yeshua had to earn it. Okay, that's not what I meant. How do I backpedal out of that one?
Delete. Rewind.
How do I backpedal out of that one? I mean, prove ourselves, like not prove it to someone, but prove ourselves. Like it's a process of sort of like sanctification, sort of like a rite of passage into the process of our destiny, our calling, right? He didn't have to prove it to Abba that he could handle it. He didn't have to prove it to us that he could handle it, but he had to prove himself, like walk through what he was destined to walk through. And that always doesn't feel like roses.
No.
Was
that a good backpedal?
Yeah. Well, when we give our life to him, it says you're now partakers in his sufferings. So through the sufferings, we actually learn the walk of faith. And so through that, and that's part of the wrestling in our lives as well. So it's more like an experience than to prove, because we can't prove anything to him because there's nothing good in us. But yet Yahweh tells us, prove me. He's the one that needs to be proven, because he will always be right and you will always be wrong. And so that comes with the whole walk and the wrestling. And as far as like princes and kings in Revelation, it says you're now a royal priesthood, you're a peculiar nation. So he says he's there a prince, meaning that he's now has a different name, and now he's gotten to another level of that understanding and the experience.
I like the last part of that, where he says, what's your name? And he's like, why are you asking my name?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
exactly.
I like that response. I like it because I don't understand it. I like to speculate. There's so much speculation around this whole thing, but it's almost like in the process of being blessed, I think we can get distracted. He was in the process of being proved and tested, and he transformed in his spirit, got a new name, and he was travailing, and he had won. And then at the end, he's like, okay, so what's your name? Can I get your autograph? Like, hang on a second, like stay focused. Another speculation anyway, but
Well, you know, the interesting thing is when you ask for a person's name, to know a person is not necessarily only to know their name. Like you can know my name, but it doesn't mean you know me. But in those times they say, okay, to know someone is to know their names. That's why names had so much meaning. Now we don't really care. But name, there's a reason, and we've been programmed to think names don't mean anything. So when you say what is thy name, or why are you asking my name, it means like how much do you need to know me, and you have to go deeper than just beyond the physical or the carnal name, you know.
yes, agreed.
It's amazing. The scriptures are amazing, right?
They are.
They're all right.
They're new every time.
Right? It's like
Okay. Let's head up to 33.
Oh, okay.
What?
no,
Nothing.
speak.
Wait.
I'm waiting patiently.
Again,
That's such
I made it down pretty far before I had a question about something.
Okay.
So anything early on? Okay, I'll just get right to it.
Yeah, just fly at her.
Verse 17.
Okay. I was just reading it.
And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's our end of the year festival? Succoth, right?
I know, and it's interesting. It was made for the animals.
And I know.
It was not made like it doesn't like it. He journeyed to Succoth and built him a house and made booze for his cattle. There, in the name of that place was called Succoth.
What was Yeshua born in?
That was a gooder. I like that one.
Right? Why did they change the name of it?
Huh?
Trivia question.
Why did they change the name to manger
Oh,
Google
instead
it.
of a booth or Succoth?
well, a manger is the
Tabernacle.
trough. Manger is the trough. Lying in a manger.
I'm waiting for the answer, so I'm
Like
not
the
gonna
manger hasn't changed. It's the trough still.
Now,
Right?
it's this place, though. Where is this place? Because earlier on,
Really close. It's really close to Jerusalem. It's just on the outside where
But-
all the little lambs for sacrifice are being. This
they
is my
also
thing.
mentioned Bethlehem in this reading.
Yes, it's in between, I think. I think like it's in Bethlehem, but it's just outside of Bethlehem, between Bethlehem and Jerusalem. Like there was this place, I studied this years ago and I forget 95% of it, but like it was where all the lambs that they were raising for the sacrifice, all the little lambs that they have for sacrifices. It was a location just outside of Jerusalem on the way to Bethlehem. And there they say that somebody had said that that's the location that Yeshua was born. Just outside Bethlehem, where all the animals were in this like kind of cave slash, area for, and those were all set apart lambs just for temple sacrifice.
That's pretty amazing. And he was born there?
Could have been, maybe.
Interesting.
None of that could be true, just saying.
35. So let's go over 34 really slow.
No, it's 34 that I want to talk about, right? No, it's 34. I don't want to talk about 35.
35. So you have to.
No, I want to talk about 34. And now that you said we'll go over it really slow. Okay.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay. I have to get my blood boiling again. Just a minute. Okay. So, okay.
Good night, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Another wealth, another house, Simeon, Levi. Okay, where does Jacob complain? Hang on a second. About what Levi and Simeon did. What scripture is it where he complained?
At the end of the chapter.
No, like herein men consist unto us, whatever, to one people of every male.
Verse 30.
No, Jacob and Simeon. Ye have troubled me to make me stink. Okay. This is interesting because, Jacob said unto Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, and I and my house. Do you get where I'm going? Okay. Not saying that Levi and Simeon, just hear me out. Jacob is whining and complaining there. He knows he's not going to be destroyed. If he believes that, then his faith is wavering. Hello? You will be like the number of the sands of the sea and the stars and all of that, right? So here's I'm going to be destroyed because you guys got carried away. I mean, okay, I'm underplaying it just a little, but okay. So, because I'm still sort of.
Weren't we talking about this on the Sabbath reading?
Probably. I'm always like, I support Levi and Simeon. I really do.
We get these promises, and we have this immense load taken off of us, this big stress relief. And we're like, okay, yeah, that's right. I understand, Father. I understand you're taking care of me. You have the whole thing under control. And then the gas bill comes in. And you look at your account and you only have $3 over the gas bill.
Right.
Or something like that, right?
Okay. So it's so then here Jacob is whining and complaining because two of his sons, pulled up their big boy pants and did something. I mean, okay. There's so many different angles that you can look at this and lessons that you could take from this and so on and so on. But I don't think Jacob's response was the response he ought to have made for himself or his inheritance or his lineage, how he behaved towards himself. They're going to kill me. They're going to think bad of me and all of this other stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's more to this story. That's not exactly what he did because this is Moses writing, the details down. But you have Levi and Simeon, or are we just supposed to turn a blind eye to this? Or are we going to just walk away? Maybe Jacob, they saw their father being passive. Their father might have been passive because look at all the gods that he told them to get rid of. Get rid of all the gods and all the idols and clean yourselves and change your clothes. Maybe they seen a type of behavior in Jacob he was a bit of a compromiser. Maybe he allowed a little bit of too much whatever it is.
Actually, it looks that way here, and I think you're right. It does look like he's a little bit of a compromiser. I never saw it that way. I mean, this verse that you're bringing up brings up a valid point.
Yeah. I don't think that they mercy will be shown for those who show mercy. And I get that, and vengeance is mine. I get that too. But I think that sometimes it's not always the way we think, it's the way we see it. I mean, I'm so glad that these two brothers, I bet you, and I know that they didn't do good things later on. I get it. They weren't perfect. But imagine being the woman, right? Being grown up with all these boys, and I'm sure she had sisters too. But ultimately, somebody defended her physical honor and her name and who she was, right? These boys, hypothetically speaking, cared about the honor of their sister. How many cultures nowadays don't care about the honor of women? They really, really don't. I'm not talking about here in Canada, and there's always exceptions to every rule, but some cultures somewhere in the world, they don't fight for the honor of a woman. They don't fight for their honor. And imagine in the psyche of Dinah, she was defended. She was stood up for.
Right.
So anyway.
You know what I also see on chapter 35, it shows how God tells Jacob, or Yahweh tells Jacob to, get up and put your big boy pants on, as you say, because it says, and God said unto Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there and make an altar unto God. So he's telling him, look, get your faith, get yourself going, stop complaining. And so, and I'm noticing it now. I never noticed it before because I never looked at these verses this way. And that you brought it up, how he was like, oh, they're going to come and they're going to get together and they're going to slay me. And then God is like telling him in chapter 1 of verse 1 of chapter 35, he says, God said unto him, arise, go up to Bethel, go dwell there, make an altar unto God, and appeared unto thee, thou fleddest from the face of Esau and thy brother. Esau, thy brother.
Interesting. He never corrects them. Abba never corrects Levi. Like there was no consequences necessarily that we know of. Like he didn't, chastise them. They made them do all this stuff, and then they murdered them all. And then this is where I feel like they took it a bit too far, but they took all the women and children. I'm thankful, I guess, because how are they gonna, whatever. But I mean, there was no consequence for that mass reaction.
Well, I'm here looking at verse 2 because Jacob got up after he complained, after he everything. Then God talked to them and he spoke to them. He said, get up and do this. And then in verse 2, he says, Jacob got up and said to his household and to all of them in it, put away the strange gods. So he was he actually got up and his faith was restored. But there was a struggle there, but I never noticed verse 30 the way that was said. So it brings into perspective the intervening of God talking to him and saying, look, snap out of it, because we're not called to be that way. It's a misconception that people have about followers of the way. They say, oh, well, turn the other cheek, and they make that the whole gospel. That well, who's going to respect that, and who wants to serve a God like that? If
don't judge, turn the other cheek.
Don't judge, but yet,
do what they want.
Exactly, or you do what you want. I mean, it's like we're really, really misinformed of what the scriptures say. But here you see a transformation. This happens, you complain, he snaps you out of it, and get up and pick up your bed and walk and do what you got to do.
Yeah. And it's sad that it took it was sad that it was that big of an ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how close they got. Like, I mean, I heard a story about Dinah, how she got a little bit too intrigued by, the town, the women in the town, and she wanted to go in and see what these women look like.
That's all speculation. We don't know. That's all speculation.
Yeah, it's all speculation, but it's almost like to draw this hypothetical. They got really close to a people that weren't trustworthy. Here's Dinah. She's about 15 years old. Where is she? Why are they camped so close to a people that could have done that?
Yeah, that's where wisdom comes in.
Where did he come? Right? She was taken to his bed. So.
Right. Let's lift you up over your shoulder. Or come, you're so beautiful. You probably have some daddy issues because you don't get to see him because you have 500 million children. You're so beautiful. And then force himself on you.
You have a fun personality.
Risky.
I love it.
Oh, good. That's all I had to say about that chapter. It always gets my blood boiling in that little part because people defend Jacob and come against the brothers a little bit. Not everybody, some humans.
Well, look at it from the other perspective too, though. Right? What was their brother's reaction?
They overreacted. Absolutely.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
What was their brother's reaction after they got down to him in Egypt? And when Israel died, this is not too far off in the reading, but they said, Israel told us that you're not supposed to take revenge on us. They just said, let's tell him that so that he doesn't take revenge on us for selling him into slavery. And he says, am I God, am I Yeshua, that I should take vengeance on you for what you did to me? What you did to me was meant as evil, but...
Right, yes.
Because vengeance belongs to him.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Now, that was Simeon and...
Levi.
And Levi. And yet they both still got pretty good blessings, right? On Israel's deathbed. That's in the future. That's not too far in the future, though. We've only got a few chapters left of Genesis. Few chapters being 15. Yeah.
Well, we're like plowing through it, so.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why it's community effort here. That's why everybody has to take notes and share and ask questions, and that's the best way to do it. Because the piece of the puzzle that Gwen is given might fit with the piece of the puzzle that Rin is given, and Jasmine can see it and put it together. So
yes.
All very interesting. Speaking
okay, are we done now?
Done. What?
Done. Never done.
You've got some
until that
goulash to make or something? What's going on?
Well, I mean, I haven't made anything and I don't really want to make supper.
Okay, now what about, I thought maybe you wanted to talk about verse 4, which is why you were all fancy, of 35.
35 verse 4? Hang on a second.
This is after he said we're going to put away the idols.
Oh, but the earrings.
Yeah.
I know.
So what is this with the earrings?
Well, I find it interesting because of what happened to my oldest, right?
Right.
Her little, I'll repeat it because I don't know how many of you guys remember. Look how dark it is, like the sun's going down. I look much better in this light anyways. My oldest had a dream, I just finished piercing their ears myself because I didn't want to bring them in because I was just far too OCD about the holes in their body and I knew how they would behave as well. They would be far too like whatever. So I wanted to do it myself, and I had done it before when I used to work in a salon. So I did it. And then not long after, Autumn, my oldest, had a dream. And it's going to be a bit broken and fragmented, but the gist of it was that she had a dream of an earring god, and everybody was bowing to this earring god. And it was me and even her dad and her sister and these other people. And she had earrings too, but she wasn't bowing to this god in this first dream. And she shared it with me. There was other details I can't quite remember. And then she said, Mom, I don't think I want my ears pierced. And I said, really, why? And she told me. I said, well, why don't you just pray about it and give it a little bit more time? Because piercing her ears was very traumatic because she doesn't bear down through pain. She doesn't push herself through pain. She's just freaking out the whole entire time. So I figured maybe that's what was the reason. But then she had another dream, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks later again, about an earring god and about being destroyed or something like that. And you're supposed to choose who you go with or something like that. And she says, I don't want it anymore. And for some reason, when she told me, I knew that it wasn't from inside her spirit. I knew that something was.
How old is she?
She's 11.
Okay.
She was 10 at the dream though, right?
Yeah, because she's turning 12. So at the end of her 10th year, yes. And so, but when she shared it with me the second time, well, even the first time I had a little prick in my soul. And then the second time I could tell again, there was a little prick in my soul about it. And I was like, you know what? I will join you in this. I will take my earrings out and I will never put them in again to support you and to follow this fear that you have for Abba and to honor him and not serve this earring god. And I let my youngest make her own choice. I didn't want her to feel forced to do something. Yeah, I just felt like she could make her own choice. But then, John, it wasn't just this scripture, John. You gave me another one too about surrendering your earrings.
There's another one. There's a bunch about earrings, but we have when
there was another one about
when Abraham's servant gave the nose rings and the earrings to Rebecca. And then we have when they came out of Egypt in Exodus.
They made the calf.
Made the molten calf out of everybody's ear and nose rings. But then later from that, when they're gilding, excuse me, when they're gilding all the instruments for the tabernacle and a lot of the stuff in the tabernacle, people donate their ear and nose rings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, like Margaret said, too, if the servant wants to stay with his master, he gets the awl driven through his ear and a big gold earring.
That's right.
Big gold earring there. I'll do all of them. So nobody can say, he's making the okay sign. Okay.
Yeah.
He made a finger loop. He pinched his fingers together. Okay.
You know, so I went like this by mistake, like on one of my videos. I did the horn sign, but I did it by mistake because I was just talking, and then everybody's like, "She's Illuminati." I'm like, oh my God. It was a hand gesture by mistake.
What about American Sign Language? I love you.
And yeah, but I was told it was created that Helen Keller was the one that created it. The I love you sign, and that it's actually Masonic, and I don't know, there's a lot behind it that I don't know what's true or what if it's hearsay.
Well, I have a friend that's an ASL instructor.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a combination of the letter I and the first letter of love
of L, love,
and then U
is here.
Together. Yeah. So it's all pushed together.
Yeah, so people need to calm down.
You know,
it's like the one that I use to go like this.
That is one of my biggest complaints is when people language hop when they're doing etymology of words. You know, for example, they'll say, well, when you say amen in Hebrew, that's actually from ancient Egyptian, from Amen Ra, and you're actually praising the god Ra. And it's like, you can't hop from one language to another. You know, it's like they say, oh, well, Christianity is sun worship, S-U-N.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a play on words because of sun and sun, because S-O-N, S-U-N.
Right.
Well, in Spanish, where the sun in the sky is sol, and your male descendant is hijo.
Mm-hmm.
You can't jump that far like that. I agree. Like, I mean, I know that there's a difference between Yeshua and Jesus. That's like a big jump, but I think that we just all need to be really, really, really aware of Abba's temperament, his character. You can tell if Abba would or wouldn't do something. You can tell. And if you can't tell, then be afraid and say nothing and do nothing. If you can't tell what Abba would say or what Abba would do. If you're not sure, then do nothing until he says something. We're always so quick to say, well, let's pray about it and ask Abba and then we'll talk to you tomorrow. Who in the world says he's, you know what?
Some people will say, I'm going to pray to Abba, and then you come to your own conclusions just because you prayed. And you say, well, I prayed, so I have the answer. And so you make the incorruptible God unto corruptible man, and you give the answer, and you say, Abba was the one that told me.
Let me
And people
get
say,
some
yes, because you
pizza
prayed.
first.
Yes, because you prayed, you had the answer. Huh?
I know. I'm like, let me have some pizza first. It helps the anointing flow.
It's funny though, because every time people sought Moses out for an answer, he basically said, everybody shut up, everybody be quiet. And then he went into the tabernacle and they didn't make any, I can only just picture them just being perfectly still, not moving, not crunching on the stones or sand or whatever, being perfectly still so that he could hear the answer, and in fact, I was just looking at that this morning in
Sneezing superstitions.
in First Kings.
It's really dark now. Holy smokes.
In First Kings, when Elijah is told, he is told in 19 verse 11 and 12, he's told, go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord and behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains and break in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake.
Right.
And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And then after all that, it says, and after the fire, a still small voice.
Amazing. What verse is that? I want to look it up.
1 Kings chapter 19, verses 11 and 12.
And just to FYI that, I mean, his still small voice is his word in you. And if you don't know his word, then read it so that you'll hear it when it's in you. Like somebody said this thing a while back, to bring back into remembrance. Now I know that there's exceptions to the rule, so it's not like this always, okay? But basically the principle is this, that if you get the word in you, then you can bring into recollection. Then the Holy Spirit, set apart spirit, can draw out of you what you've already put into you and bring into remembrance what he needs to tell you.
Yes.
Or to remind you of. So if it's not there, meaning if the word isn't there, because you have to get the word in you, right? You have to yes, when you become a new creation, you're a set apart being, and now the set apart spirit has caused your body to be clean, and now you are a temple. But now you got to fill it. You got to fill it with his word, fill it with his truth and his principles, and collaborate with that truth in you with obedience. And then when you forget something, you can pray and he can bring to remembrance. How can he bring something to remembrance if it wasn't
not there?
So this is how we can hear Abba, the still small voice.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I am the bread of life.
Yes, eat it.
That's what we're trying to do here, right? The word. And then once we get everything read, everybody will have this great big 3 notepads of notes.
Plethora.
And we'll be able to flip through them and somebody will say, hey, that sounds like when we were reading Exodus.
Yeah.
This also reminds me of the last days, what you just read. That's why I wanted to, the First Kings, because it's like, you see the mountain and you see the earthquake, and it says, okay, and there shall be, when in Matthew, I think it's Matthew 24, where it says there shall be pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Well, you see the withdrawing of the Spirit of God, of the Ruach. You see the withdrawing of him. And so you see these things happening. So then he's like, is he in the earthquake? Is he in the whirlwind? But yet it says here in these particular verses, he's not there. He's actually talking to you. You just have earthquakes, you have whirlwinds, you have all these things that are trying to get your attention so that you don't pay attention to the still small voice that is right there. So then afterwards you get a calm. So that's why I wanted to read this, because it pertains to a lot of our struggles, our whirlwinds, our problems. And you say, he's not in the problem. He's actually talking to you so that you can look beyond it. Because metaphorically speaking. At the same time, it's literally speaking, because you have the parable within the actuality that is being taught to us. It's awesome.
That's because I'm a hybrid. Who knows what's going through my blood?
You follow what I'm saying, though?
I do.
Yes.
So what happened? That they said you're a hybrid?
Oh no, they said she's glowing more and more.
Because it's getting darker and darker.
It's getting darker, and your face is getting brighter from the computer.
Okay, I have to go now.
Yeah, we better
radioactive.
Better wrap it up.
That's the word I was looking for.
So, thank you, Gwen. Oh, you're not leaving quite yet.
Thank you, Gwen. It's nice to meet you.
I hadn't said goodbye yet. I love everybody in the chat.
Yep.
And
everybody, we love you. We'll be back the middle of the week to do another 5 chapters, and then on Sabbath again, another 5 chapters. We're going to keep this up until we've read all of it.
Till we're dead.
Uh-oh.
Yep. And then we're going to start again. Woohoo!
Yeah. Read until we're dead, and then we'll start again. That's awesome.
Thank you, Gwen. Thank you, Laritza.
No problem. And thank you.
Really nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, and it's nice to formally meet you, Jonathan.
Yep.
I stuttered on your name for a second.
Yeah, I do too. Anyways, everybody, remember, take notes, share. We're all in this together. Love you all.
Okay.
Okay, bye.